First World Championship in 1926, baseball has remained a St. Louis tradition.
17 consecutive wins! And now the St. Louis Cardinals are post-season bound.
But sometimes, a season can change in an instant. With each year, change is inevitable, and the 2022 season will certainly see its share. A new manager, new rules, a new team. But while some things change, others stay the same.
He hits it in the air to left field. This ball is gone. Two-run home run, Yadier Molina. Breaking ball struck him out, and the Cardinals have won the pennant. In the air, left field, and Pujols has given St. Louis the lead. A dramatic, towering three-run home run.
Three legendary Cardinals reunite in 2022 to chase the franchise's 12th World Championship, proving that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
What a special afternoon this will be, and a special season of 2022, a packed house. It is opening day at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And it kicks off 162 of the regular season. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals on Bally Sports Midwest. The lineups have been exchanged. The Cardinals will take the field momentarily. And it wouldn't be Cardinal baseball without saying good afternoon to our buddy Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Hey, Danny, nobody in baseball does opening day like the Cardinals. This year, there's an added bonus. The return of Albert Pujols. The band is back together. Of course, Pujols spent 11 seasons with the Cards before departing for Anaheim, then LA. He's reunited with Waino and his pal Yadi for another run, and Albert is thrilled.
Well, it's pretty special. I mean, these are the guys, you know, the last time we were together, we ended up winning a championship together. So we only 3 guys left out of the 2011, you know, champion. So hopefully we get another shot at it this year. I'm going to enjoy, you know, my last year, you know, along with Yadi and Bueno and the whole team and the whole organization, you know, being with Nola and Paulie and some of these young kids, you know, they're the future pretty much of this organization. So I'm just really excited to be back.
Hey, I got one question. Do you miss me the last 2 years?
Always miss you, buddy. You know that.
Albert, Yadi, and Waino back for another run. Danny Waino, for his part, says pump the brakes on the retirement talk. He's back for another run, perhaps not his last.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols, very emotional ceremony just moments ago, and now Waino starts his warm-up tosses, and he'll face a team that he's had great success against. And here today, battery mates starting for the 305th time, Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright. Remarkable, and certainly a record that will not be broken here in St. Louis history, and they have a chance to set the all-time Major League record before this season is through. Last season, 32 starts, 17-7 with an ERA just over 3. 22 quality starts mixed in there, as he has truly been one of the best pitchers since the pandemic hit. The numbers bear that out. Hyundai pitch arsenal. How many times we said this with Waino? Fastball, breaking ball, get ready for it. Old Uncle Charlie, and he still got it. Jim Edmonds making his way to our broadcast booth. He'll be my partner today. The lineup for the Pirates: Vogelbach, Reynolds, and Hayes here in the first. Utsugo, Newman, Tucker, Gamel, Perez, and Parks. So a lot of lefties in this lineup. A couple of switch hitters, and that's something that Adam Wainwright will have to deal with today. The crowd comes alive. The first pitch of 2022. And here it is from Adam Wainwright. And it's taken for a ball just outside. Calling the balls and strikes, the crew chief, Jim Reynolds. Todd Titchener down at first. Mike Matlinski is at second. Dan Merzel is our third base umpire. And the 1-0 pitch to Vogelbach. There it is. It's a strike, and it's 1-1.
How we doing, Danny?
How are you doing?
It was a little chilly. I'm good, though.
A little chilly, a little emotional down there. Good to have you here in the booth. That's Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball. Little bouncer hit up the middle. DeYoung to his left. Up the line a bit, but held on to by Goldie in the first out. 5 Gold Glovers a year ago for St. Louis. Harrison Bader his first. He's in center. Tyler O'Neill is second. He's in left. Dylan Carlson, many believe will get one. He's in right. He was the 9th Gold Glove for Nolan Arenado at third. Paul DeYoung, Tommy Edman up the middle. Edman his first. Goldie his fourth. And 9 Gold Gloves behind the plate. Yadier Molina. So undoubtedly, Jimmy, this is a very good defensive team coming back.
Yeah, and you know, right off the bat, if you take a look at that first play, Adam Wainwright had a chance to flag that down, but if it's a touchy situation, he just nicks it. He messes everything up. So he lets it go, knowing that he's got 2 guys up the middle that are Gold Glove quality guys, and just very smartly lets it go, and nice easy ground out for the first out.
Brian Reynolds, switch hitter, good numbers a season ago. He was an all-star and a finalist for the Gold Glove award as he pops that foul and into the crowd. He had 8 triples last year, which was tops in the National League, and his on-base percentage was 5th best at .390. This is a very good player. The question around the Pirates will be, will he remain in Pittsburgh as they rebuild? They do have 4 years of control with him, and the reports are the man on deck, Ke'Bryan Hayes, has signed a long-term extension. Did that right before our opening pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike, and a shift on the right side for Brian Reynolds.
Well, that would be a happy opening day for you, wouldn't it?
And for their fan base. Pittsburgh last year 101 and 61 their record. That is tapped foul, rolls up the line, and it's 2-2.
Looks like Adam already has that curveball working. You can see, it's funny, even talking to Mark McGuire before the game right there, he was like, gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to hit against that curveball. I said, isn't it interesting that it's a big curveball that you can see, but it just stops. It doesn't carry into the zone, and you can see a couple guys already out in front. It just dies on you, even though you see it well.
The 2-2 pitch. Take it high. Wainwright, opening day start. Only Bob Gibson has more in Cardinals history. He'll turn 41 in August, and currently the 4th oldest active player in the majors. His teammate Albert Pujols, Rich Hill, the lefty, and Nelson Cruz at DH. Three-two pitch, and he got him. They appeal and they ring him up. And the first strikeout for Adam Wainwright here in this 2022 season.
That's what you get right here with that curveball. Then all of a sudden you get a fastball, even though it's still not 94 anymore. That's enough velocity right there to kind of get you a little off balance with that breaking ball, and he basically threw that fastball right by him right there.
So the reports for Ke'Bryan Hayes, who is just a marvelous defensive player, is that it's an 8-year extension and the largest contract in Pirates history. They start him off with a breaking ball that drops in for his strike. He has only played 120 major league games. Last year 96, and that was cut short with a wrist issue that he had. He had an ankle injury in spring training, but available and ready to go for opening day.
Well, he is a wonderful player, and his dad, I'm sure, Charlie Hayes, taught him a lot of things other than just playing the game to keep him going, and all the little tiny little nuances of baseball are what keeps you ahead of the game. And I think the defense is head and shoulders above the rest of most everyone in the league. I think that offense is just slowly going to come as he gets a little bit older and gets a little bit more mature.
The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, and it evens it up at 2-2. 16 Hall of Famers, Red Jackets, in attendance here today, and a packed house here at Busch Stadium. Glad you're with us on Bally Sports Midwest. 2 outs, 2-2 the count. Nobody on here in the top of the first of opening day. The next 2, Hayes. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And a pair of Ks for Wainwright here in the season opener. Coming up for St. Louis. Chilly afternoon near the Gateway City. But so what? We've got baseball back, and it's opening day 2022. Ali Marmol's lineup, Dylan Carlson at the top. The switch hitter, then Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Albert Pujols, Paul DeJong, Yadier Molina, Harrison Bader, and Tommy Edman. The 23-year-old Dylan Carlson finished third in the National League Rookie of the Year balloting a year ago. Went to Jonathan India. And there's a look at Brubaker, the starter, JT Brubaker for the Pirates. He actually made his debut in relief on opening day of July 26th of 2020. Nobody was in the stands that day. A little different story here today.
This is some kind of crowd here today, Danny. This is what it's all about, what it used to be all about, and the people are back in full force.
Shift on the right side, and Carlson lifts it in the air. It may blow back fair, and it does, and it drops. Carlson hustling all the way into second base with a leadoff double. Dylan Carlson puts his arms up in the air and says, well,
here we go.
Sometimes that's how you got to do it.
Don't forget about that wind up there. I'll tell you what, the wind is really blowing everywhere but low on the field, so a lot of the guys will forget that it's up there. It's kind of dying down, but where it's going to be really obvious is down that left field corner, and the ball is going to blow back onto the field. In the right field corner, the ball is just going to keep on blowing in the stands, but you might see a couple of these today if we get some pop-ups from lefties.
You could see it once it hit the top of how far it was going to go. It started to blow back in.
You saw Hayes just change complete directions,
yes.
Right? He was going straight to foul territory and just took a right-hand turn back onto basically shallow left field, and as deep as everyone plays, here we go again, Danny. I mean, the left fielder is on the warning track. There's no way he's going to get anywhere near catching a ball that's in shallow left field.
And with the shift, the shortstop isn't there, so it becomes a very tough play for the third baseman. Now it's Paul Goldschmidt, drove in 99 a year ago. And the first pitch taken for a ball. The 34-year-old starting his fourth year. Hard to believe, 4 years now, Goldie here in St. Louis.
Yeah, it went in a hurry, didn't I? think that's what a little bit of the COVID, a little like half season, a little empty season, and then get right back to a late start here. It's like he hasn't had a real true start. I mean, even this, I'm for sure for him to look at, it's got to be unbelievable to finally get, you know, back in track. But I mean, it's weird. It's amazing to see the fans, this many fans out at one time and this loud already.
3-0 on Paul Goldschmidt. Brubaker against the Cardinals. 4 starts, 5 games, and an ERA over 6. And many of the Cardinals have good numbers against this right-hander. The 3-0 in there for a strike. In that debut in relief for Brubaker, he had 2 scoreless innings. The major league debut. Really struggled on the road a year ago. The first 2 have reached for St. Louis. And here comes Tyler O'Neill. And coming off a season in which he popped 34 home runs a year ago. Pretty emotional down there during those intros.
You know, it blew me away. Adam Wainwright. He came running out of the dugout. Hasn't probably ever done that.
And Yachty.
He was like, wow. Like he kept looking down like he didn't even know what to do or say. I said, hey, how was that? He goes, that was weird. It was loud. It was emotional. It was awesome. But it was great. It was great to see everyone. It was great to see the players. It's so awesome to see the younger players being so respectful of the older generation, especially the Hall of Famers, obviously. But kind of cool when it starts to go, everything starts to go right again.
2 balls, no strikes on O'Neill. What a chance here for the Cardinals with the middle of their lineup coming up. This place ready to erupt on opening day, and Brubaker falling behind as the inning began with a bloop double by Dylan Carlson. The walk to Goldschmidt, and now Tyler O'Neill. The 2-0 pitch. Ooh, what a cut. 2-1. 13 starts on the road for this right-hander at Pittsburgh a year ago, and he went 1-8 with an ERA near 7. At home, he was just a game below the 500 mark. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Arenado on deck, and then Albert Pujols, who's standing at the top step of the St. Louis dugout, lurking.
I'll tell you what, everyone thinks that Albert is past his prime, and maybe, but he's still there. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of young players that eyes are wide open when they see him. Don't think that some of these pitchers aren't going to look over their shoulder when he's standing in the on-deck circle or standing on that top step.
His time was called by the third base umpire as Brian Hayes had to make an adjustment apparently on his glove, with his glove, and so time was called. The count of 2-2 with nobody out. Outfield extremely deep. Base hit. Carlson should score easily. The 2-2 up the middle. Hot shot off the glove of Park. Here comes Carlson. Throw to the plate. 1-0 St. Louis.
Great job of hitting right there. Goes down and gets a slider and hits it hard. It hits a hit when you hit it that hard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Carlson does a nice job of running hard the whole way. Didn't even slow down. Let Stubby tell him, or let Pop Warner tell him to go ahead. Keep running hard. Always run hard until they stop you, and he did a nice job right there.
But Brian Hayes, I mentioned it earlier, dealt with a wrist issue a year ago, and you wonder on the ball that was popped up by Carlson if he landed funny on it. Sometimes you brace yourself when you fall, and if the wrist gave way, and could you imagine, you're the Pirates, they just gave him an 8-year extension, and this is the first inning?
First hitter?
Wow.
Yeah, you know what, and too, you can be a little, have that wrist a little too tight.
It seemed like it affected him all that much there.
No,
that's just a guess.
I'm going to go with maybe too that wrist tape. Sometimes you get a little nervous and you can put it on there a little tight. You can start restricting the way you're moving your hand, but then you fall on it a little bit, just jam it. But you're right, it didn't seem like too much right there.
Goodness. With Derek Shelton, this is now his third year at the helm of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And they are counting on that young man at third base to be a cornerstone of their franchise and lead them into what they hope is much better days in a rebuild. And already they have to go to their bench. That's Diego Castillo at a terrific spring training, and this will be his major league debut. He led their spring club, 6 home runs, drove in 12, and hit .371 in 14 games, and already they have to go to their bench.
Yeah, that is not ideal right there. I mean, ideal or not, you have to think about the health of your third baseman now, but a man short. But like you said, the bigger problem would be one of your main guys is now sitting on the bench and could be aggravated an old injury, and could be a while. You just never know, and that's the scary part. First day, first inning.
Excellent base running by Carlson to score on that ball off the glove of Park, and now first plate appearance for Nolan Arenado. He's 5 for 11 against this right-hander. That includes 4 doubles and a home run. On deck, Albert Pujols.
Well, I'd hate to draw this up for you right here, but
oh boy,
wouldn't you like to see a walk right here? I mean, I'd love to see a 3-run homer, but to be a little selfish,
I'll take the walk.
I'll take the walk and a 4-run homer anytime. I think maybe the crowd might stand on their feet if he comes to the plate, period. But if he comes to the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out, it's going to be interesting. It might be phone recorded worthy of everyone in the stadium. I think there's going to be a lot of phones flashing.
Here's a 1-1. Ground ball left side, foul. Nolan Arenado late in the home opener last year in his Cardinal debut in front of the St. Louis fans, albeit not full capacity, with a dramatic opening day home run. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Very windy here at the ballpark. We keep noting that, but it's picked up again. Now time is called. Pirates also lessen themselves defensively. Key Brian Hayes had 16 defensive runs saved at third. That was most among third basemen in the entire game. The 1-2. And a swing and a miss, and it brings in Albert.
Number 5, designated hitter Albert Pujols.
Looks to be tears in his eyes. The crowd on their feet. And Albert back home here in St. Louis. The first pitch to him is a strike with runners at first and second. An opening day back at Busch. It just looks right.
Yeah, I was looking down at the on deck circle. It's like he never left.
One ball and 1 strike. The chant of "Let's go, Albert."
Talked to a couple guys downstairs underneath the tunnel when everyone was down there, all the Hall of Famers, all the players, all the coaches, and they said he looks a lot better than we thought. And I said, I'm not surprised.
The 1-1. Pujols hits a fly ball out to left. Coming in will be Gamble. He'll make the catch. Runners back to first and second. And Albert Pujols back in St. Louis and back in a Cardinal uniform.
That was almost too good to be true right there. Just got in on him a little bit. Brubaker's got a nice sinker. Late exploding action, just down and in, but a little bit movement there, and it just got inside on Albert right there.
Here's Paul DeJong. 113 games last year, 19 home runs, and looked terrific this spring. 2 outs and 2 on.
Wow, right down the middle.
He's 2 for 6 against this right-hander. Those 2 hits have been home runs. Originally drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul DeJong. Did not sign, went to Illinois State. Was a third baseman and then eventually shifted to shortstop, drafted by the Pirates as a catcher back in the day.
That's interesting.
The 1-1. 1-2 the count. First 3 reached for St. Louis, then the strikeout of Arenado. Pujols flied out to left. And now DeJong in the hole, 1-2.
You notice anything different right here? That was a heck of a sinker right there. That backdoor sinker is nasty. If that ball is in on your hands as a righty, you have to take it. It almost looks like Paulie's a little bit more turned in a little bit and a little bit more upright. Not so kind of spread out, and his hands are a little higher. Looks like a different hitter.
The 2-2. Molina on deck. Playing in his final opening day. Runners off with this pitch. The 3-2, 2 pulled to Young. The bases loaded for Yachty.
Number 4, catcher Yadier Molina.
Moments ago, you're wondering about the bases loaded in Albert. Well, you get it with Yachty. Four opening day home runs for Yadier Molina. Hits it off the end of the bat. Brubaker will underhand, and the Cardinals pick up a run. The RBI single by Tyler O'Neill to score Dylan Carlson. Albert's back. We're back. Baseball back. It's 1-0.
The second on opening day, Adam Wainwright was coming back anyway, but he couldn't be happier that Albert came back for another run too. Waino told me Yachty and I had to move our seats on the bus back a row, and we've had these seats for over 10 years. We couldn't wait to do it to make a spot for Albert. Waino said, I saw Corey Dickerson leaving the stadium in Florida the other day. He saw Albert heading to the batting cage. He went back in, put his workout clothes back on just so he could hit with Albert. Danny Waino says Albert has already had a big impact on the club. Guys just love picking his brain.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Susugo, Newman, and Tucker. That's the byproduct of also bringing Molina in. And Yachty and Waino and Albert all together. What they can bring to everybody on this team, whether you're a pitcher or position player.
Well, you just don't get three guys like that on one team that have been around so long in every position. I mean, you got what better starting pitcher to have to talk to. He's got a great personality. He's open to anyone all the time. You have a catcher and then one of the best right-handed hitters on the planet. So pretty good little trio right there to bounce some stuff off to if you have a little struggles.
Here's the 0-2. Wainwright at a 1-2-3 first inning, struck out a pair. Well, for Yadier Molina, 18th opening day start, second most in franchise history. Stan the Man at 20. Second most in Major League Baseball as a catcher. Pudge had 20. But most in the major leagues as a catcher with the same team. That's fouled back. Tsutsugo spent time last year with Tampa Bay, the Dodgers, and then finished up with Pittsburgh. And he had a memorable walk-off homer against the Cardinals on a Sunday afternoon at PNC Park. Popped 8 home runs a season ago. And the 1-2 pitch. Into center. Here comes Bader racing in, and the Gold Glovers got it. Harrison Bader with the catch in center.
Good job. You see him get a good jump. Pretty standard for him. Just nice play right there all the way around.
Bader last year led in outs above average, ultimate zone rating, and 4-star catches among center fielders in the game. There's a strike to Kevin Newman, the shortstop of the Pittsburgh Pirates. We have O'Neill Cruz, who is a 6'7" shortstop and one of their top prospects and one of the best prospects in all of baseball. And the Pirates decided to keep him still in the minor leagues. And a lot of the fans with Pittsburgh were upset about that. They think he should be here. But for the time being, it is Kevin Newman. The 0-2 pitch. Into center again. Bader on the move and won't get there on an 0-2. A single by Newman. And the first hit allowed by Adam Wainwright. today's umpires, the FTX umpires, and Jim Reynolds, the crew chief, here this afternoon, and he's behind the plate. Retirements of Laz Diaz, Greg Gibson, Marvin Hudson. So other guys are moving up in terms of being crew chiefs in Major League Baseball. The pitch taken for a ball, low and away.
That has to be the biggest group of umpires leaving in 1 year that I can remember in forever. That's a bunch.
So you get some new guys, but they've been able to ease those umpires into Major League Baseball with vacations and that kind of thing. So you'll recognize some of the names, but now they're full-time guys.
Some of those double headers.
Exactly.
Too many games in a week with some of those older guys that are now gone.
This is Cole Tucker, switch hitter. He's in right field today. He could play the infield as well. 24th overall pick back in 2014. Two balls, one strike. You know, Jimmy, you talked about Waino being introduced today on a day that he is pitching. Normally he's warming up in the bullpen, or any starter on an opening day, and that's how they're introduced. And I was wondering about his emotions today, and then having to kind of focus and get back to the game and get away from the nostalgia and the energy and the emotion of what was happening.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they did that. I think it's pretty special, and he was clearly not used to that. He was a little bit emotional. He was blown away by that, but he, of all people, just goes right back to what he has to do, runs back down there, gets ready to go in the bullpen, and comes into the game.
And the 3-1 pitch by Waino. Now 3-2. Waino's been sitting right around 89 to 92, and the way he can spot it and cut it, that's fine.
Yeah, I think if you have the 92 out there, and even if you think about that right there, Dan, it's a 3-1 pitch. You pretty much think you're going to get fastball, and you're late on 89, so he's got that good little short late life fastball going. Keep the ball down, he'll be just fine.
You start Newman, the runner, swing and a miss, and the first of many. He got him at second base, caught stealing. Yachty back, and nothing's changed. Strike him out, throw him out. And the Pirates will not challenge. Same old Yachty. Something else. Waino the strikeout. Yachty still going strong in 2022. Watching Albert Pujols, and now those youngsters, their mom and dad can say, hey, you may not remember it, but you were at opening day and you saw Yachty, Waino, and Albert one more time. There's going to be a lot of fans that say that throughout the season.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of mom and dad, I believe Mr. and Mrs. Bader are in the house today.
And Harrison pops it up on the first pitch behind home plate. Made a diving catch in center. Coming off a season in which he had 267, 16 home runs, and drove in 50 and won his first Gold Glove.
And those numbers are going to improve every year, I believe.
Tommy Edman on deck, and then Dylan Carlson. The 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2.
It's that pitch right there, especially against Brubaker, you have to take. That is going to put you in a hole if you're a right-handed hitter all day long. You got to recognize inside, even though your tendency is to want to cheat a little bit because of the velocity and the movement. You have to be able to try and take it. You have to. It's too much movement inside right there for a right-handed hitter.
1-2 the count. Packed inside Busch Stadium, and the streets since early this morning have been buzzing.
Oh, yeah.
Around downtown St. Louis, Ballpark Village is packed here today. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The folks at Ballpark Village enjoying themselves, and why not?
Look,
baseball is back. The 2-2. So from 0-2 to a full count on the Cardinals center fielder. The 3-2 pitch. Hit softly left side. Bader could smell a base hit. Beats it out. It's the other aspect of this team. Bader, O'Neill, Edman, all with very good speed.
Well, you're battling for your life right here with 2 strikes. He gets a little out in front, but puts it in play, and that is all he has to do. That's not even close. He's got his lightning bolts on. This is how fast he can run. Bruce Bolt's got to start making him shoes so he can use it on both ends, hands and his feet. He's flying down the line.
There's Tommy Edman, hit 262. We forget he had 35 games in right field last year. And Tommy played 115 at second and won the Gold Glove from his buddy Colt Wong in his first season, replacing Wong. It was a tough spring at the plate for Tommy. 2 hits and really struggled offensively, but that's over and the season begins now. 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck, Dylan Carlson. Kind of lost in everything that's going on with the guys in uniform that are playing is the guy that is in uniform trying to manage all this.
I was thinking about that. He hasn't been talked about much yet.
First season, 35-year-old Ali Marmol, the youngest active skipper in all of baseball. Had been Mike Schultz's bench coach the last 3 years. His time in the organization goes back to when he was drafted by the Cardinals in June of 2007. So the managerial debut of Ali Marmol there on the right, and welcome back home as well to Skip Schumacher. Got a nice round of applause from the fans here in St. Louis as he was introduced. 3-2 the count on Tommy Edman.
Well, it was also nice to see Big Mac back. That was awesome.
Joe Torre, don't see him
nope
all that much, but he was back. Our buddy Tim McCarver, always great to see him. See if they want to start the runner here on 3-2. There goes Bader. Little chopper softly hit to the right side, and Edman is out by maybe a half step. Advancing on the play will be Harrison Bader to second. MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Busch Stadium. Buy and manage game tickets, unlock offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Love seeing that camera and that high shot. All the fans that have gathered here at Busch Stadium. We're anticipating big crowds all weekend long. Dylan Carlson doubled and scored on a single by O'Neill. And he did go, and that's strike 1.
That's what that fastball does for you right there. Good sinker, good fastball. Guys want to get out in front. Don't pick up the slider quick enough, and voila, strike 1.
The 0-1 pitch. Kept in front by Roberto Perez, 2-time Gold Glover behind the plate. As he comes over after many seasons with Cleveland and the trade of Jacob Stallings to Miami. And they are using the electronic signals, and you're going to see that more and more throughout Major League Baseball. The Cardinals have elected not to do that, at least initially. It's called PitchCom. So that in spring training. 1-2 the count on Dylan Carlson. They have lost the thumb guard on that swing as he was spun around. So basically they can press the buttons. They have 9 different choices on there, and inside the cap of the pitcher. It is verbalized, Spanish, English, whatever the case may be, and you get the description of the pitch without showing any signs. So sign stealing should be out of the way. It's encrypted specifically for each team. 2-2 the count.
Guess that means you don't have to be creative with your signs, huh?
No, sir. The 2-2 to Dylan Carlson. Swing and a miss.
It's a nasty sinker right there.
Second strikeout for Brubaker. Around the horn, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Major League debut. Diego Castillo at third, Newman at short, Park at second, Tsugo is at first, Perez behind the plate, Gamble, Reynolds, Tucker in the outfield as Goldie hits one down the right field line and out of play. If you're just joining us, Key Brian Hayes had to be removed in the first inning. And again, it looked like something potentially to do with his wrist, hand. Looks like the trainer there talking with Derek Shelton, the manager of the Pirates. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Goldie, a very impressive spring, hit right around 500 and hit for power throughout the spring. In the hole here, 0-2. This defense of the Pirates, they had the fewest errors in baseball, 70 last year. The 0-2 still wound up with their 9th triple-digit loss season in franchise history. 101 and 61. And time is called.
It's the best thing you can ever have as a runner at second base, is have the pitcher look at you and think maybe you're trying to relay something, because that is just a distraction you don't need on the mound.
2-2 the count. Goldie has certainly the power to go the other way. The wind is blowing out towards right field here at Busch Stadium. You get one up there. With all the lefties the Pirates have, you could be seeing some long balls into the seats and right. It is whipping in that direction. The 2-2. From 0-2 to a full count. So Brubaker at 48 pitches. Also will be interesting to watch how teams navigate this first month. Shortened spring, expanded rosters, how deep they go with their starters.
Be interesting to see how they navigate this lineup right here, 2 and 3. Even though Tyler O'Neill had a really good year last year, you're still having a guy like Goldie who has done it for years and years and years.
3-2.
Like that right there.
Good at bat. 2 walks already for Goldschmidt, and now 2 on for Tyler O'Neill. Quick word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With our free in-store assembly and pre-assembled grills and smokers, buy online at academy.com and pick up in-store. So keep those grilling plans at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
O'Neill hit a rocket off the glove of Park. His first time up, and it went into shallow center. That allowed Dylan Carlson to score the only run so far today. We're in the home half of the second. 2 on, 2 outs. O'Neill at the plate. The first pitch is pulled foul. 24% of his hits in the big leagues have been home runs for Tyler O'Neill. Nearly a fourth of all hits that he's had in the big leagues. 34 a year ago. As they shade him a bit towards right center, but all 3 outfielders very, very deep. O'Neill out to left. Gone. Opening day bomb off the bat of Tyler O'Neill. 4-0 St. Louis. 34 of them a year ago in his first of 2022. A 2-out, 3-run blast. Tyler O'Neill.
I did an interview the other day, and someone asked me about him, and I said probably the biggest and most dramatic change from one year to the next that I'd ever seen in my career, or even in my days in baseball. Pretty impressive. And can you think of anything like that? Maybe a pitcher, maybe, but that from dead pull to spinning off every slider to now we've already seen the fastball in for a homer to left, which we know he can do, and the slider back up the middle as you're supposed to. Both rockets.
He is driven in all 4. Here's the 0-2 to Nolan Arenado. Out to left, backing up Gamble, and just shy of the wall in left as Nolan gave it a ride. Somewhere Larry Walker is watching us and loving this. His Canadian brother going deep here in St. Louis. What a start for Tyler O'Neill. He's driven in all 4 runs for St. Louis. And it is 4-0. Baseball is back now through April 11th. Customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB. And a tip of the cap, Tyler O'Neill to the folks in left. Wainwright has struck out 3 in his first 2 innings. It'll be Gamble, Perez, and Park 7, 8, and 9 for Pittsburgh. Ben Gamble was claimed off of waivers from Cleveland, 111 games a season ago with Pittsburgh. 255 was the average. Hit 8 home runs, drove in 26. Shift on the right side of the infield. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1. The fly ball lifted down the left field line, and a souvenir on this opening day. The big crowd. We are sold out. That's the other part of this. It's the first time we have been back to full capacity for an opening day since all the way back in 2019. The 1-2 pitch. Strikeout number 4, Adam Wainwright.
Maybe look at breaking ball right there. That's not even that fastball in the inside that runs back. That ball is all plate and didn't have a lot of movement. Watch this right here. He's trying to throw it in and run it back. And it does run back a little bit, but that ball is all over the plate. And I'm telling you, when a guy has a really good weapon, regardless if it's the fastball or the breaking ball like Waino has, you're always thinking about it in the back of your mind.
Roberto Perez and Yadier Molina are good friends. Puerto Rico. And the 0-1 pitch inside. Perez 8 years with Cleveland. Last year hit just 149. Adam Wainwright comes into this season 16 wins away from 200. Over 2,300 innings. He's been on the bump for St. Louis. And with 4 more strikeouts today, he now has 2,008 in his career. The 2-1. Now 2-2. The next by Waino, base hit into left. Roberto Perez on a 2-2 pitch. Toyota, key to the game. It's an easy one for all of us. Enjoy the history. The Hall of Famers, Albert's final opening day, Yadi's final opening day, and Jimmy giving me a weird look.
Well, I was just wondering how that affects the actual game itself, but hopefully all of the hoopla will get the guys in a good mood, and they'll go out there and win. So I understand where you're going there. I like it.
Thanks for playing along. You're in mid-season form.
I'm just glad I didn't have to come up with that one today. That was a little rushed. We'd still be working on it. Very good, Danny. Very good.
Hoy Park came over from the Yankees in the Clay Holmes deal. 44 games with Pittsburgh last year. They had him playing all over the diamond.
Little sun popping through, so making sure you don't take anything for granted. You better go get your sunglasses.
He's got the kind that flip down. He's got the old school.
Yeah, old school. Well, it's not bright enough out there, and with the crowd in the background, if you wear the Oakleys or that kind of style, you kind of could lose the ball a little bit in the crowd, and that's especially on the infield. I found it's a little bit tougher. When you're on the outfield side of things, it's a little bit easier to track the ball because you have the distance, but I felt like when you're on the infield, the shading everything wasn't always perfect. And you know, you see a guy like that, he's got those lenses right there, those Nike glasses. Sometimes they're actually, they'll brighten it up. So just because they have sunglasses on doesn't mean they're being shaded, because they do make shooting glasses and all kinds of different orange lenses, yellow lenses, and actually will brighten up the day. And I've worn those a few times, but I think also too, you know, Arenado's an old school guy, so sticking with the old school plan. I never wore those. I couldn't.
2-1 pitch to Park, left-handed batter, 9th place hitter, drops in for a strike, 2-2.
Tell you what, that curveball he's got working today is pretty nice. It's not only cold, the wind's nice and damp a little bit, but that wind blowing a little bit in his face, maybe just extra bite for him.
The 2-2. The last time that Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols were in the same starting lineup, September 9th of 2010. Remember, Waino was out in the 11 season, and it was late in that year, September 9th of 2010, and they beat the Braves 11-4 as Waino went 8, Albert homered, and the Cardinals won. And here we are in 2022 in the lineup. Waino, they'll get the lead man, no chance to get Park, so he gets down the line, and a little confusion there on who's covering at second.
Well, I think it's hard not to if you're the shortstop, and you could see Arenado giving him a little bit like, hey man, get out of the way, let me turn one.
American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. And welcome to those in countries around the world and aboard naval ships at sea. And thank you so very much for your service. And enjoy some baseball here today. With Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim A's with us as well. Daniel Vogelbach grounded out to short to start our contest today. It's not often, I would assume, that Daniel Vogelbach has been a leadoff hitter. He's their designated hitter. And it shows you how the game has changed with the DH and with speed at the top. He's a former All-Star back in 2019 with the Seattle Mariners. And one of the reasons he's at the top, the high on-base percentage. He's been above 400 a couple of times. The 0-1 pitch. That gets away from Yadi. On a breaking ball that Yadi tried to pick. And advancing, it'll be Park to second base.
He tried to knock this down, I think, at the end. He's done this so many times. I think you just feel like you can pick it, and sometimes it bites and stays down, and sometimes it pops up right where you want to be. But it's the way it goes.
So now Waino and Yadi will go to the cards, which we've gotten accustomed to the last couple of years, and reset the signals. Vogelbach had 2 home runs against the Cardinals last year while with Milwaukee. Hit .318 against St. Louis. And he also had that memorable home run for the Brewers, and that was the same road trip in which Tsutsugo hit a home run at PNC and Vogelback hit a devastating home run on a Sunday afternoon in Milwaukee.
Well, that was the one when you said that. That was the one that I remembered in Milwaukee, and I had forgot that that was the same trip.
2-1, pulled foul. The Cardinals, I mean, they could have folded so many times last year, and then they rattle off the 17-game winning streak and get into the postseason. And if they get by the Dodgers, who knows what happens, but they were one of the hottest teams undoubtedly in the game.
That was shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden just turned and kept saying, okay, it's 5 and 6, there's 10. How much longer can it go? And just kept on rolling. See if he doesn't try to go way back door here. It's been interesting. He's been kind of going in against Vogelback. He's kind of one of those guys. He starts open, but he dives a little bit and kind of goes around the ball. So you maybe can get him out in as long as you get it in there. But I was waiting for that right there.
2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 already through 3 innings for Adam Wainwright. One of the memorable games of so many we've seen from Albert Pujols, 3 home runs in the World Series. El Hombre is coming up when we come back. Drafted in the 13th round of the 1999 MLB draft. And here he is still with the Cardinals now, Albert Pujols. First time up. With runners at first and second, flew out to left. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball that's hit to short, and it eats up Kevin Newman, who had a .993 fielding percentage a year ago. May have taken a bad op. And the Cardinals leadoff man is on here in the 3rd.
Might see here early in the year Albert getting a little jumpy, and also because of that fastball, this ball kind of just runs up Newman's arm. Yeah, it just didn't stay down, and that's, you know, that's the other thing too. We talk about it all the time, Danny. When Colton Wong was here, going into the outfield grass so often, the ball will kind of die down. Well, that ball bounced twice on the grass, and it was hit hard enough where I don't think it got another bounce on the dirt, and then that one bounce on the dirt gave it a little extra bounce. It just kind of climbed right up his arm.
Well, Newman was sure-handed a year ago. Led all shortstops in fielding percentage. Matter of fact, 2nd highest fielding percentage in National League history behind Ray Ordonez, who is the all-time record holder with the Mets back in '99. That's how good Kevin Newman was. Now, that's not saying that you're getting to a lot of balls. That's just saying the ones that you're getting to, you're gobbling them up.
Well, let's not forget, too, you said that they have a high prospect in the minor leagues still, but Kevin Newman was a 1st-round pick. 19th pick overall. So that goes to show you that he is legit, been legit, and he is worth keeping around, especially while you're trying to develop. So there's a lot of clubs out there that are going to look at him when it's time to maybe move up the ranks for the younger players. They're going to know that they have a solid shortstop. They got, you know, there's 29 other teams out there.
2-2 the count on Paul DeJong. Walked back in the 1st inning. Cardinals have had base runners every inning thus far. They lead it 4-0. Tyler O'Neill has driven in all 4. It's a good sign there if he's laying off of that pitch. And DeJong was telling both of us that's a pitch that he's by design trying to lay off of. Also the fastball, the 4-seamer up, which a lot of teams attack him with.
Well, I like the fact that his adjustment has been made where he is trying to go towards the plate a little bit, because if you get stuck opening up, it's tough to stay on the ball. Sorry, Danny.
3-2 is out of play. Couple of rows deep.
I know you were waiting for that one to blow back onto the field.
It was coming.
It was. Wind's kind of changed directions a little bit, maybe blowing out a little bit more. So you could see when those guys were going back to the screen that you notice how it didn't blow back into the play. It blew down towards the outfield wall a little bit. So guys run to the wall, and then all of a sudden they had to start running towards the outfield a little bit. So the wind definitely spiraling around up there. Now it's blowing straight out to center field.
Popped up into shallow left. Late break by Gamble, finds it and makes the catch. Pujols back to the bag at first. We remind you it's back by popular demand. The puffy vest giveaway returns to Busch Friday, April 29th. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. That night, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home their very own puffy vest courtesy of Bayer. And great seats still remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotions.
Interesting too. I think that Brubaker has gone a little bit more toward the off speed after he challenged everyone early.
Into shallow center off the bat of Molina. He's 0 for 2. Pujols back to the bag at first, 2 away.
Looks like he's moving pretty good, don't you think?
Well, first of all, I think he's come in good shape. And you're talking about Albert Pujols.
Yes, sir.
And I was there the day that they made the signing official. And he didn't have a jersey top on, but more of like a workout shirt. And it was noticeable that he came ready to play and was in good shape.
I'll tell you what, I talked to Ollie also, and he said he was surprised that he didn't know what he was going to get. He hadn't talked to him much. He hadn't seen him. And when he walked in, his eyes lit up like, that's the guy I remember.
Yep. Harrison Bader, infield hit, run scored back in the second.
I think that if he can stay within himself and not try to impress and try to stay in the lineup and get settled, I think he's capable of having a really good year. And by a really good year, I mean hitting upwards of 280. I'm talking about Albert, sorry, still, and hitting upwards of in the 280s, you know, with driving in some runs. And he's going to get pitched to for a while. He's going to get, you know, you're going to get Arenado getting pitched around, especially with O'Neill if he starts doing damage. So they're going to have to pick their poison. And then you get through this lineup a little bit better. And then you get to Bader and Edman at the bottom. And then all of a sudden you're running into that speed. And then you look up and you're flipping over again. I think that's how dangerous this club is now with the DH. It got deep quick.
2 balls, 1 strike on Bader. Room on that right side of the infield. Pulls it left side. Hit to third. And Castillo to Park. And a force play. Number 5 back, and it's 4-0. Midwest brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And brought to you by Steel, Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. A chilly day in the Gateway City. 4-0 Cardinals, opening day of the 2022 season. Brian Reynolds, then Diego Castillo, and Tsutsugo for the Pirates. In strike 1, Reynolds struck out swinging on a check swing his first time up. The back of the cap of Adam Wainwright is the number 21 to honor Roberto Clemente, and the Clemente Award winners are wearing that on their caps. Service, leadership, charity, Clemente Award winners. Yadi, Waino, and Albert Pujols. Nice touch.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
That's maybe a few hundred steps up above the Gold Glove winner. Pretty special there. Even more special, I think, that award.
Adam has told me it's the most significant award that he has ever won. Displayed prominently at his home. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch count at 51 for Adam Wainwright. Lined into right field and a base hit for Brian Reynolds. He is 1 for 2 in the 3rd hit for Pittsburgh today. The BJC injury report, and it's unfortunately on Jack Flaherty. So introduced today with the opening day ceremony, but not active as we begin 2022.
Tell you what, speaking of being in good shape, he looks great. I mean, he was standing down there and These guys, some of these young pitchers, they're so big. Even McGuire was like, man, these kids are huge.
Wasn't that long ago Big Mac was in that dugout as a coach. Diego Castillo making his major league debut and filling in for Key Brian Hayes. Hayes had to leave with an apparent injury in the first inning. And again this spring, Castillo burst onto the scene. 6 home runs, drove in 12, hit .371 in 14 games for the Pirates. The 0-1 pitch. Tapped foul, 0-2. You have to figure he probably grew up watching Yadi, Waino, Albert Pujols, and now he gets to make his major league debut here at Busch Stadium on an opening day that he'll never forget for personal reasons and for the history on display here at Busch Stadium. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The strikeout number 6 today for Adam Wainwright. 6 already for Waino.
The curveball's really, like I said, really working. A little bit of wind. Look at that right there. Good bite.
Real good bite.
It's like I said, it's one of those curveballs that you don't see very often. It doesn't have the carry. He has this unbelievable knack to get it up there in your eyes, and it literally just stops. It just goes downward. It's got that spin where most guys' curveball will kind of keep spinning at you and kind of get to your knees or get to your inside the plate area a little bit, and his seems to bounce right before that.
There's Tsutsugo. It was robbed by Harrison Bader. The diving catch. And a line out back in the second inning. This is where the shift gets interesting and how hard the ball maybe hit to the right side. Is it your shortstop that's going to cover, or does Arenado have to really get to the bag quickly for any chance to turn 2?
Well, I think if you look at this shift, I don't think Nolan can get there from where he's at. It's going to have to be slow, but you can see Paulie right there moving around out there defensively, kind of gets a little closer to second just to see, kind of step it off. That's something like as an outfielder you always do, right? You always look around to see where you're at. Deep or shallow, you always have to think about how many steps is it going to take me to get to the wall, then how far am I away from my infielders.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ground ball left side. Arenado can't get there. No one at the bag at third. Won't matter. Runners at the corners. Hustling all the way was Reynolds from first to third. Runners at the corners, and the batter will be Kevin Newman.
Take a look at that. Talk about chaos right there. That ball is a ground ball to shortstop, and you got the third baseman at second. You got the shortstop at third along with the catcher. The first baseman ends up being at the home plate area, and the pitcher's got his head down walking back to the mound. So that's what the shift does for you right there. You have people running all over the place. Good job, though, by the Cardinals defense. I mean, that's what you get when you have all these veterans together. You have the third baseman, the first baseman as good as anyone in the game. Then your catcher is as good as if anyone ever in the game. And they got it all covered because they're not afraid to talk and not afraid to play out of their positions.
There's Kevin Newman.
Check this out right here. And this is what I'm saying right here. Look at everybody just react. Look at the first baseman right here. He kind of sees it happening. There's Yadi right at third. You can see DeYoung was hustling all the way. He knew that was coming up.
The 1-0. On a hop to short. Out there, they turn the double play. The second double play turn by the Cardinals. And they're out of a jam here in the fourth, and it's 4-0. Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. By Car Shield. Car Shield cars go farther. And Jack in the Box popcorn chicken combos for $5.99. Get it classic, spicy, or 50-50. 2022 Cardinals Hall of Fame ballot presented by Edward Jones. Live now through April 15th. You can cast your vote for a top deserving player from another great field of candidates. Visit cardinals.com/HOF. Well, you may see this a lot in baseball here in the first month, but starters just not going very deep, and that's the case here with Pittsburgh. Will Crowe is in, 27-year-old from Charleston, South Carolina. He was picked up last year from Washington, and that was the Josh Bell deal. So Will Crowe, right-hander, in here to start the fourth against St. Louis.
Yeah, you're going to see Will Crowe with probably about the average is about 93 to 94. He's mostly going to be fastball changeups to lefties, fastball sliders to righties. Has a curveball and a slider on both sides, but kind of a two-pitch pitcher more or less on each side of the plate. Just kind of like a normal guy out of the bullpen. But I'll be surprised if he throws a couple other pitches here and not just fastball changeup to lefties. There's that changeup right there. He throws the changeup like 29% of the time, and that just goes to show you he's got a good one. Your fastball 43% of the time to lefties, that means you got a good changeup.
The 2-1 pitch. There it is.
Yep.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Lefties have hit .239 against him. The righties have had a lot better success against him. And he's allowed 16 home runs as opposed to 9 to the lefties, but 16 against right-handed batters.
That changeup is the X factor. It's a good one. It looks like another one right here. But the thing with the righties is you have to be more creative as a right-handed pitcher these days. You can't just fastball, slider, and then occasionally the curveball and changeup. You can throw a changeup righty-righty. Maybe another one right here.
And it is, and it's fouled away by Tommy Edman, who grounded out to second his first time up, 0 for 1.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't challenge yourself to throw other pitches. You can't fall into that fastball slider pattern, fastball changeup pattern. Clearly the changeup is his better pitch. Looks like fastball away here, but you can't fall into patterns against right-handers. They will kill you. If you get a guy like Goldie, and you're going to throw him fastballs away with a slider in that same slot, he's going to hammer you to right center field. But think about crossing people up with maybe a changeup that's going to run in. Then all of a sudden you change the game. It's going to go right back to that changeup, I bet. No.
A 3-2 pitch. And Tommy Edman strikes out. Quick word from Tickets for Less. Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout. I want to thank Tickets for Less for joining our broadcast in support of Cardinal baseball, Valley Sports all season long. Here is Dylan Carlson. And he looks at a ball. Carlson has a double, little bloop down the left field line. He's the leadoff hitter today. Scored on a single by Tyler O'Neill and struck out swinging. 1 ball and 1 strike. I think that leadoff spot could be a rotation of guys as we get going throughout the season.
I'll be honest with you, and I got up here in the booth later, obviously, than you did. I didn't really see the starting lineup until they were driving across the infield with the cars. But were you a little bit surprised by this order today? I thought we would maybe see Bader or at least Tommy at the top, and then Dylan, and then so on, 2, 3, 4.
Well, the reason I say that I'm not surprised is that Tommy struggled in spring, so you got him as a ninth place hitter. And if it's a lefty on the mound, Harrison Bader could be at the top with his success that he's historically had against lefties in his career. And so then you get Carlson, who's kind of been steady Eddie.
Well, and I also go back to this also too, and I'd like to put a bug in maybe Ollie's ear. It is tough for lefties to see the ball in spring training, especially if facing a lot of righties. So hopefully Tommy, I would love to talk to Tommy and see if he notices that as he has some at bats today, because I noticed that. And we got another Thor on our team. You see Bader over there maybe grew his hair out a little bit this winter, but I think Ollie's going to be great. I think he's quiet. Doesn't get excited. I think he's open to talk. I think the players love him. I can't wait to see him go out there and argue and get thrown out his first time. I can't wait to see what kind of emotions he shows. I don't think he's not super fiery unless he's really, gets upset.
I'll be shocked when I see it, but I know I'm going to see it.
I've seen the Ollie that had to go to players and say, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and he basically says it just like that.
Yeah.
And every conversation I've ever had with him has never got really above a whisper. He's just very calm and quiet.
But he's very direct.
Yeah.
And that's what players want.
Well, he was the, I think he was the hammer when Mike Schilt was doing everything else. He was the guy that would have to go out there and say, hey, in the infield, we got to do this. And hey, you're not playing shallow enough or deep enough in the outfield. And I spent a lot of time down there with him. And he was the guy, man. He walked around with that piece of paper and would just like hammer you over the head with it.
The 2-0 pitch to Goldschmidt, who has walked twice and scored. 2-1 the count. In his career, many times he gets off to a slow start, and he'd love to change that this year. And maybe we're getting a sign of things to come, and that is going to be a strike. Apparently, he caught a little bit of the bat. Yep, but I mean, his spring, that no one could get him out. He was hitting everything hard.
Well, I feel like for me, one, he's a veteran. He's been around, and he knows he didn't need a lot of work in spring training. But for me, I hate having a hot spring. Hate it. Because I feel like you're going to cool off at some point. You're not going to hit 500 for months and months and months. And if you don't have a really good spring, but you feel good about yourself, you have something to work on. If you have a really good spring, what do? You have to back off because you can't overswing yourself into a slump. So then you get into you get into the opening day, and now you're putting all this pressure on yourself where, man, I got to keep it going. Man, that's the worst. That's the worst feeling ever.
3-2 the count. Tyler O'Neill on deck. O'Neill is driven in 4 and a 2-for-2 day, which includes a 3-run blast. The 3-2 pitch. And Goldie walks for the 3rd time, and O'Neill again a chance to do some damage. Take you back to the 2nd inning. He popped 34 a year ago, and with 2 outs, a 3-run homer into the seats in left for Tyler O'Neill.
I can't tell you how nice that is to see from a guy, and you know what I'm saying, inside the world of baseball. A guy that he kind of got beat by a lot of fastballs at the end of the year last year. Guys started flipping him sliders, and we thought, oh, he's doing a good job of staying on the slider. Is that because, does he have slider bat speed? Has he made too much of an adjustment? And right there, with a guy throwing a good sinker, he gets the bat to the ball, and it is nice to see.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. 0-2. Nolan Arenado on deck. With 2 outs and a runner at first, and a 4-0 St. Louis lead. The shift for O'Neill, but that's something that we saw in spring training a lot of beginning last year, going the other way. First Cardinal with at least 4 driven in on opening day since Yadier Molina did it at Cincinnati in 2010. Only the 13th time in franchise history.
I have to believe there's an Albert Pujols name in there somewhere. He's had some pretty good opening days.
He's got 5 opening day home runs to his name.
Saw a few of them. Try hitting behind that all the time.
Everybody's still standing, and you're getting a curtain call while you're in the batter's box.
Worst. I'd rather hit in front. That was the worst. Hitting behind McGuire and Pujols. Hang with him, Jimmy. Just stand back there at the on-deck circle and wait till the show's over with, and then you can go do your thing.
A 2-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. 3-2, and Goldschmidt is off with this pitch. Albert in 06 had a 4 RBI day, and that was against the Phillies. Had a couple of home runs.
Well, that was the day I was actually thinking about, because we were talking about how big the ballpark was playing that day and how small Albert made it look.
3-2, and a strikeout of O'Neill. So 3 strikeouts in the inning for Crow in his 2022 debut. 4-0 Cardinals.
Cards lead 4-0 as we move to the 5th. First-year manager Ollie Marmol is just 35 years old. He's a youngster compared to Albert, Waino, and Yadi. But Marmol says it's absolutely a non-issue. He told me the only time I think about age is when I'm asked about it. He says it really never crosses my mind. I make sure I respect the heck out of those guys and I make sure I'm prepared so they respect me. Ali says it's a huge plus to have those guys around, guys like Albert, Yadi, and Waino. And he says the clubhouse is obviously in good hands. Danny, you know how the team respects Ali. He's a really well-respected guy in there.
Now, Jimmy, this is Cole Tucker. Chops it left side, backing up a step. Arenado quickly to first, and the pick by Goldie. Couple of Gold Glovers there.
Like saying we never saw that before, huh? Arenado with a quick throw, a little short. And Goldie just digging it out like no big deal.
What I was about to say, though, Jimmy, is that Ali has never had to go out to Adam Wainwright when he wants to stay in the game on opening day of 2022. And then we'll see how it goes.
I think maybe I'd send Mad Dog out there.
Good play by Goldie.
You know, like the old days when you'd see the manager run out there, and if they were mic'd up, you would hear him say, "Hey, just checking on you. How you doing?" "I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." All right. See you later."
Nolan Arenado, his 9th Gold Glove, 5 Platinum Gloves to his credit, and Goldie picked up his 4th Gold Glove a season ago. Here's Ben Gamel, struck out looking his last time up. Keep an eye on the pitch count at 63 for Adam Wainwright. The one thing about Adam Wainwright is that he has been going deep into games the last couple of years. And since the start of 2020, the 40-year-old is 22-10, ERA just above 3. And only Zach Wheeler has thrown more innings than the 40-year-old Adam Wainwright. That is incredible to me. The 2-1. He's not walked a man today. He has struck out 6.
Well, I don't know how he's done it, but he's willed himself into being more efficient as he's gotten older. And he's had a couple of rough starts where he's gone out there and said, you know, he's one of the few guys I think that learns from his bad mistakes.
Out to center, backing up Bader, and he'll make the catch.
You know, I think he's one of those guys in the interview that says, yeah, I didn't do this well and I didn't do that well. And it's almost like he goes, oh, that's what was wrong. I'm going to take that out in my bullpen. I'm going to fix that. And then goes on a run.
Last year, over 200 innings. There's 4 pitchers that were over 200. He won 17. ERA just over 3 and closed in on 200 strikeouts.
Look at the innings. Do you remember you and I sitting right here, and I said if he stays in the next X number of games, I think it was probably 7, maybe 6 or 5. I said he might get in the upper 90s and upper 190s in innings this year. And is that going to be incredible? And he finished with 206.
Well, 200 innings now is, if you get to that, you're in rarefied air. I mean, starters just don't go deep into games. It's just the way the game is played. As there were just 4 that had 200 innings last year.
Well, we
Zach
talked about
Wheeler,
it.
Walker Buehler, Sandy Alcantara, and Adam Wainwright. West tomorrow night, Blues and Wild. Big Central Division matchup. Coverage starts at 6:30 tomorrow on Bally Sports Midwest, streaming on the Bally Sports app. Jim Hayes, Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals lead at opening day here at Busch Stadium with a score of 4-0. Tyler O'Neill has driven in all 4. Arenado has struck out, fly to left. Albert Pujols on deck, and then Paul DeYoung. Second inning for Will Crowe in relief of Brubaker, who went 3 innings. 4 runs on 4 hits, struck out 2, walked 3, and gave up a 3-run homer. Arenado, a year ago, 34 home runs and drove in 105 in his first season in St. Louis.
And speaking with him all the time, was not happy about his performance. That's what kind of player he is.
Boy, you appreciate that. A guy that puts up those kind of numbers and wins the Platinum Glove in his 9th Gold Glove and says, I need to be better.
Well, I can promise you he went home, and his brother Jonah is right with him all the time, and they worked and worked and worked all winter long.
1-2 the count. We mentioned that Crowe has had the success against lefties, and in this scenario, in the home half of the 5th, he gets 3 righties and 3 good ones. Inside, 2-2.
Well, in order for him to be successful against right-handers, from my point of view, he's going to have to make that pitch right there. He's going to have to be in and in off the plate consistently around the edge inside there if you want to get swings at this slider right here down and away. You have to make them believe you're going to challenge them.
And a full count on Nolan Arenado in year 2 here in St. Louis. The 3-2 pitch, up and in, and it brings in Albert. Cardinals have received 5 walks in this game, second by Crow. The Kia player profile, another opening day start for Albert Pujols. 22 1 back. The all-time hits leader, Pete Rose.
Look at the names on that list.
Albert today has reached on an air, 0 for 2. And the first pitch taken inside.
And that's the pitch you have to be able to take. That is what ruins right-handed hitters for the slider. And if he doesn't get that and doesn't hit his spots, that slider is basically voided and the fastball misses, you're in trouble.
Here's a 1-0. Pujols back to Crow. He knocks it down, and it is off the umpire to throw that's wide, and everybody's safe.
The umpire right in the shin.
Runners at first and second and nobody out. So fielder's choice, E1 on the play, and the second error against the Pirates today. And both times have been with Pujols up, and now they're going to check on Crow.
Umpires get hit by the ball a lot at this ballpark, don't they?
Seems to be that way. That ball is live. Once it hits the umpire like that, that's a live baseball. Grateful Dead night here at the ballpark. You'll get a Grateful Dead tie-dye baseball jersey. Jake's Leg will be performing tribute band to the Dead, so get your tickets at cardinals.com/theme. DeYoung against Crow is 2 for 3 with a double and a walk.
This might be a good spot for DeYoung right here. This guy's good matchup for him, I would think. Just got a miss location though. You don't want that fastball in.
Ball today has walked in, fly to left. 0 for 1.
Might be that homer right here, Danny, we've been looking for to get the people back on their feet.
A chilly day here at Busch Stadium. The 1-0 pitch to DeYoung. 2 balls, no strikes. Molina on deck.
I think when you watch hitters at the plate, when you see them flinch and not flinch, that tells you everything about how they're seeing the ball. Paulie DeYoung has not flinched at those 2 sliders.
2-1. Just how a guy takes it.
That's as important as how a guy swings. You know, that means you can swing at a lot of pitches and be just a hair late and think you're all over it, just a little early, just a little off. But when you take a pitch and you're balanced and you're not flinching, you know you're locked in.
2-1, hit left side. Force play at second, and runners at the corners.
Dangerous throw right there. When you be surprised at that right there. That ball gets away just a little bit. You give the Cardinals a free run. Sometimes you have to eat that ball at short. Or at second, I'm sorry. Trying to turn the double play right here.
So first and third. And 1 out. The Cardinals leading 4-0 in their half of the 5th. And here's Yadier Molina. Came up with the bases loaded back in the first. Grounded out. And a runner at first in the third and fly to center. 0 for 2. He'll turn 40 in July and entering his 19th Major League Baseball season. The first pitch to Molina, taken for a ball. Bader on deck. lot of room on the right side of the infield. The 1-0. Molina rounds it left side. Can they turn two? The pick at first, and they do. 6-4-3 on the double play. 4-0 St. Louis. The healthcare difference maker. The starter today, Adam Wainwright. And Wainwright has been very efficient again today with 6 strikeouts. And you do have to wonder about how deep he will go in this game. He's had 68 pitches, the shortened spring. But I also wonder if you just throw that out the window when it's Adam Wainwright.
Well, you just ask him, how do you feel? He knows. How do you feel? What's impressive to me is shortened spring, say whatever you want. You know he's been working. Out of those 68 pitches, Danny, 44 for strikes.
Yep.
I mean, that's telling you why he's out there. When he starts losing that ratio, start missing up, maybe sometimes you have to go, okay, I know you feel good, or I know you're this, but look like you're maybe starting to get a little tired. I'm going to get you out there. But
Hoy Park to lead it off in the 6th inning for Pittsburgh.
So far, so good.
I also think the emotions of them not warming up and being announced out of the dugout, which is unusual to say the least for the battery that starts on opening day, and just being able to collect yourself and get ready to pitch in this game. Shift on the right side in an 0-2 pitch.
See that one? He slowed down a little bit. He doesn't do that very often. You could totally see his arm break down. It's almost like he tried to guide that curveball short.
A ball and 2 strikes. Outfield pretty shallow for Hoy Park. Grounded into a fielder's choice first time up.
Fastball away.
2-2.
Well, you don't see a lot with him, and interesting about getting older and arm troubles and all that stuff. You don't see a lot of that cutter anymore. You know,
it's gone away from it.
Yeah, he's really gotten back to just spotting the sinker.
Hit the other way, and an infield hit for Park. Hit them where they ain't, Jimmy, especially with the shift.
Oh, I would just lose my mind if I was on the mound right there. Makes a good pitch. Fools them. Oops. You know what that swing is right there, too? That is a panic. I'm going to try and foul this ball off swing. Like, you kind of see at the very end, and you know good hitters can do that. At the very end, you can see him just actually get his face down to the barrel, and the hands kind of whipped at the end. And it's almost like when you're running down the third baseline, you say to yourself, oh, man, I rolled over that a little too much. Like I'm out. And then you look up and no one's there. But you try to stay inside that so much that you hit it over by the dugout. And he just kind of rolled over it and got away with it.
Vogelback is 0 for 2. Grounded out to short and struck out. Shift on the right side. Well, Adam told me a couple years ago, basically before the pandemic, he said, I'm going back to what I had success with. And I understand what the numbers say, and I believe in what these numbers say. However, I also believe in what I do. So I've got to go back to my strengths. And my strength is old Uncle Charlie and spotting that fastball.
Well, and I think maybe you know, and I'm go out on a limb and saying this because I know him so well. I think maybe he fell in love with that cutter, you know?
Sure.
You watch Chris Carpenter pitch, right? He threw a lot of cutters, but man, he threw a big one, a short one. He threw one backdoor inside, and he would just keep. But he threw a lot of fastballs with that, where he would get you to have to. You're going to have to commit. And I think as Adams' velocity dropped, he was afraid to throw anything straight. I think what you're seeing now is him throwing the ball straight and throwing strikes. Because for one thing, as a hitter, especially a lefty, if you know a guy's got a cutter, as soon as you start to see the rotation, you just expect it to be a ball. So you can't hit it. And guys are making outs, and as they see it enough, you start to take it, and then you go back to the fastball. If you can spot that, you can't take the fastball because you can't pick it up in time to take your time to make a decision. It is just rotation changes everything.
Adam out in front, lifted into shallow center. The catch made by Bader, and Vogelback is hitless today, 0 for 3.
And I think going back and forth too, pitching inside and outside sets you up for this breaking ball.
His breaking ball, spin rate wise, if you want to dive into the analytics of it, it is still one of the best. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. So more spin on that baseball, you get the more of the ball that breaks, and he's got the big 12-6. That's the major league average on the right, and Wainwright at over 2,800.
And I've played around with this a little bit, and I've seen guys hit 3,000, but there's not very many guys out there with 3,000, and most of those guys throw 96, 97.
That's right. Very short lead at first by Park, and now it's Brian Reynolds, the switch hitter. He's 1 for 2 today. Fly ball again to Bader for out number 2. Catch made. The batter will be Diego Castillo. So Castillo came in at the first in the bottom half after Brian Hayes had to leave the ball game with an apparent injury of some sort. Looked like maybe his wrist or his hand. We'll get further word as we go along, either in our broadcast or on the post-game show with Alexa and Brad and Ricky. And welcome Alexa Dat to our broadcast here at Bally Sports Midwest for Cardinal baseball. And a strike to Castillo.
No Alexa jokes, Danny. No Alexa jokes. The home, the Google thing, you know, you can talk to Alexa and ask for anything you want. You can ask stats. You can ask for grocery lists. You can do everything. Now we have Alexa in the booth, so you got to be careful.
I've got Siri.
Well, I've got both. I need all the help I can get.
0-2 the count.
Alexa can even turn off the lights at our house. She's very smart. She sits right there on the counter. So don't get it confused.
The souvenir for that gentleman. All bundled up on a chilly day here at Busch Stadium. The 0-2 pitch. Hit to the right side. Tommy Edman spinning and makes the play.
Nice play right there.
So after the infield hit, pair of flyouts and a ground out midway through 6. Started with the great Hall of Famers back in town. The Clydesdales, the Wizard. 2 future Hall of Famers. And still doing it here in 2022. Yachty, seen this a time or two. The strike him out, throw him out. Tyler O'Neill, first home run of the season. He has driven in all 4 today. The Budweiser plays of the game. 27-year-old out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Former Cub Dwayne Underwood Jr. He was leading all the major league relief pitchers in innings pitched, and then his season was cut short early September, and at that point he had over 72 innings. Finished up with 72 2/3, and our Chevy called to the pen. This spring, 4 innings, 4 hits, struck out 6, no runs allowed. Last year the lefties hit him a little bit better than the righties. It'll be Harrison Bader to lead it off for St. Louis, and the Cardinals on opening day with a 4-0 lead. Bader is 1 for 2 with an infield hit and a run scored. Tommy Edman on deck, and then Dylan Carlson. Genesis Cabrera getting loose in the St. Louis bullpen.
I feel like, if I remember correctly, Underwood's got a pretty good fastball, but a really good curveball, and a pretty good changeup to lefties.
Came up with the Cubs in 2018, was with Chicago in 18, 19, and 20. And then last year, 43 appearances, and a lot of those were multi-inning appearances for Pittsburgh.
He's got a rubber arm, and I felt like he was out there every day when he was in Chicago too. So he's probably got some innings under his belt already.
3 balls, 1 strike on Bader. Will Crowe had 2 scoreless innings in relief of Brubaker, who went 3, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. Crowe 2 innings, no hits, struck out 3. And now it's Dwayne Underwood Jr. 3-1 pitch to Bader, fouled back, and a good cut. 3-2 pitch. Lifted down the right field line and out of play.
See that swing right there? Just a little pull off. That's the thing that with that open stance, they got to keep him away from landing on that outside of his foot and that shoulder to leak a little bit. He has to learn to trust those hands, man. The guy is so strong and lightning fast, and that is his only issue. Is when he starts to do that, he's looking in, and you have to get to looking out over the plate.
3-2.
Like
Pulled
that.
fair. Down into the corner. Bader has his second hit of the afternoon, and it's a leadoff double in the home half of the 6th.
See, hitting's easy, Danny, as long as you don't have to do it. It's easy to talk about. You can show it. You can see it. And I think Harrison's getting to that age where he can realize, oh, maybe I pulled off that ball a little bit much. Look at the body finish right there over the plate. Didn't pull off. When you can start making those adjustments from pitch to pitch is when you start to turn into a better hitter, and sky is the limit.
So a leadoff double, Harrison Bader. 9th place hitter, Tommy Edman. Edman just 1 for 7, couple of walks against Dwayne Underwood Jr. The shift on the right side of the infield as the sun is peeking through the clouds for the first time today at Busch Stadium. Some of the shadows do become a factor as Underwood is in the sunshine, and
well, that's why he stepped out right there.
The batter in the shadows.
When you're standing at the plate and the sun will come out and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, you have to step out, let your eyes adjust a little bit. That gets a little uncomfortable.
Tommy pulls it foul. He is 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to second. Struck out looking in the 4th. Here's a 1-1. Up and in. Two balls and 1 strike, Tommy Edman. For the outfield of the Pirates. Very deep, and now the trainer for the 3rd time today on opening day for the Pirates coming out to check on. This time it looks like Underwood. Key Brian Hayes had to leave in the 1st. There was a comebacker against Will Crow. He stayed in the game, and now training staff checking on Dwayne Underwood. Looked like he had a little hop after he threw the pitch, and clearly a bit uncomfortable. Take a look. Yep.
Ooh, you know what that means. You don't grab that lower back of your leg a whole lot if there's not a little bit of a hammy bite. Yep, that's enough right there.
And he's going to leave.
It's interesting too, that being the back leg.
Yeah, usually the lead leg that you're stretching out towards the plate is the one that you see affected by this, but it is a cool day here in St. Louis, and so Dwayne Underwood has to leave the game, and Derek Shelton will go to his bullpen. And I guess you have to be thankful your roster's been expanded to 28.
Don't you ever. I hate to think that. Can't help but to think that, knowing that the travel has been short, the season has been short, the travel just happened just a couple days ago in this cold, and you know, guys kind of seize up a little bit after running down there in Florida, running around in the hot weather, and then all of a sudden you're on a plane, come to a cold place. You don't really do much out in the cold the first day, and then you're out there in a game going full speed, and that can give you some issues too.
Well, it looked like the lefty Peters was going to come in. Dylan Peters, he wears number 38 there. So we're still waiting to see exactly which direction they go. Presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Saturday, April 30th, the Cardinals will host the Diamondbacks. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older receive a Nolan Arenado bobblehead courtesy of Purina. This is the first Cardinals bobblehead of the popular third baseman. Features Arenado with his lovable pooch. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Well, the pitcher is Heath Hembree. He's making his 5th appearance on a Major League opening day roster. Was with Boston. He had a career high 9 saves, 83 strikeouts. Pitched with the Reds and the Mets in 2021. Very tough against right-handed batters. They hit just 181 against him. The lefties 253 at 4 scoreless innings in spring training, and the umpires will give him all the time he needs on this cool afternoon to get loose and ready. Opening day at Busch, all the activity here at the ballpark. Folks having some fun.
Yeah, what a crowd, huh?
It's awesome.
Tell you what, I made the mistake of leaving a few minutes later than I wanted to, and kind of thought, you know, it's going to be crowded, but need to get down there in case. And wowee, was it jam-packed around the ballpark.
Official attendance today, 46,256. 46256. What's on tap? It's game 2 of this series after the off day tomorrow. And Miles Michaelis will be on the mound for St. Louis. The key with Miles, just stay healthy, because when he is, he's effective.
Yeah, just strike. Stay healthy. Throw lots of strikes. We've seen what he can do. He can run the ball both sides of the plate with all of his pitches, and just stay healthy, keep his pitch count down. He's going to be just fine.
His last time out was Monday, and that was against the Nationals. He went 6 innings, 1 run and 4 hits. And Miles was 3-0 this spring with an ERA of 2.08. He's talked about a goal of getting to 190, 200 innings pitched. I mean,
take that.
Take that in a heartbeat, man.
Take 180, 170. Just stay healthy. Get out there as much as you can.
It looks like with the coat on and smiling and talking, that would be it for Adam Wainwright. And Wainwright, 6 innings today, 6 strikeouts, 5 hits, no runs. And the key with Waino, and the key for any pitcher, when you've got 5 Gold Glovers returning in this defense, throw strikes, no walks, put the ball in play, and good things can happen. And that's what happened today with Adam Wainwright.
Well, and I'm wondering if that is like the speech of the year for the pitching staff, right? These young guys that are out there have to learn how to do that, and what a better guy to watch pitch opening day than Adam Wainwright. And I think it's got to be a charge for those guys to watch him pitch at that velocity, with moving the ball around and making his key pitches when he needs to. Maybe some of those guys that are trying to overthrow some days can learn to just back off a little bit, throw strikes, hit your spots, and if Adam can do it, I can do it.
It was announced yesterday during the workout that the number 5 starter for the St. Louis Cardinals will be Jordan Hicks.
Saw that, caught me off guard. I'm surprised.
Remember, I brought that up with you during spring training.
You know everything.
And it's something to keep him healthy. They think he can do it. Now, it's going to be interesting how careful they're going to be with his workload initially, certainly, but then throughout the season. He hasn't thrown many innings. Out all of 2020. Last year, limited. So something to keep an eye on.
Well, I'm wondering also if that will kind of ease his work, not workload, but ease his max effort. You know, ease his mechanics a little bit, where maybe he's not going to go out there and overthrow early, kind of ease his way into it, reach back when you need it. We talk about the ridiculous sinker that he's got. Just use that and use what you've been talking about, that defense to help you out.
He looks so good in spring training. A couple of games that we did. One game went multiple innings, was hitting triple digits with run. The count is 2-2. Hembree to face Tommy Edman here. And Tommy 0 for 2. Inning started with a double by Bader into the left field corner. Cardinals lead it 4-0 opening day here at Busch Stadium. Full count. Edman, by the way, is 1 for 3. He has faced Hembree before. That one hit a double. Dylan Carlson on deck. Shift on the right side. The Pirates outfield very deep. Speed of Bader, base hit, he will score easily. Hembree is set. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Tommy Edman. Edman hits it to the right side, advancing Bader. He'll go to third. One out. Dylan Carlson coming up. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Rally House.
Play ball, St. Louis. Shop the latest in Cardinals style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
Dylan Carlson, the bloop double into shallow left to start the game offensively for the Cardinals. Came around to score on a base hit by O'Neill. And twice he has struck out swinging. Pirates bring the infield in. Shift on the right side. And Carlson lifts a fly ball into center. Bader back to retreat and tag up. He will score. And this will make it a 5-0 St. Louis lead.
Well, let me go back to a couple years ago, maybe even before the pandemic, how bad they were from driving in guys from third base with less than 2 outs. And I kept saying, you don't have to drive a fastball. You just have to have a soft approach, get the ball to the outfield, and let the guy tag up from third. Both guys did a perfect job right there. Dylan not trying to do too much, got the fly ball. And then Bader got a late jump, went back to the bag, tagged up, scored the run easily. Nice job right there. Both of them.
Good, love that. Leadoff double. Ground ball right side. Fly ball, bring him in. That's how it's done. Here's Goldie, who has walked 3 times. The 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tyler O'Neill on deck.
Tell you what, they keep doing this, you're going to fire up Tyler O'Neill right now. All year long, he's going to be hitting with guys in scoring position, and if he doesn't do his job, you got Arenado and Pujols on deck. Man, you better be careful. You're playing with fire.
The 1-1. Again, it's that pitch right there that sometimes Goldschmidt, when he's not right or just a little off, he'll chase that. And he's been staying away from that pitch from day one.
If you don't force him to think inside, he'll never swing at that. It's when you can sneak balls inside on him, jam him once in a while, speed him up. He'll almost start guessing slider or looking out there, and you can tie him up in, but you'll get some swings. If you don't come inside at all to him, you have no chance. He's not going to swing at that pitch, and he's just going to lean out there and drive balls into right field all day long.
Might be the best spot of any lineup, sandwiched between Goldie and Arenado, Tyler O'Neill. Right now it's 3-1 on Paul Goldschmidt. 2 outs, nobody on. 5-0 Cardinals with the lead. 3-1 pitch. 4 walks for Paul Goldschmidt here on opening day.
I mean, you know, that's like you come into a city, and when you have those pitchers meetings, you say, well, he just got done hitting 500 in spring training. Just going to keep walking him all day long? Or are you going to say, well, let's make him do it in the cold weather? Especially with nobody on right there.
It's 6 walks issued by the Pirates here today. And now it brings in Tyler O'Neill. He has driven in 4 of the 5. RBI single in the first, 3-run homer in the second, struck out swinging in the 4th. Paul Goldschmidt, the first Cardinal in franchise history to walk 4 times on opening day. With all the great names that this franchise has had.
No, no kidding.
And he's the first.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of silly, right? I mean, you got the bases empty right there with 2 outs, and you didn't even throw a pitch close. The problem with that is you're going to get into spots where you've just eliminated him getting himself out or a solo homer. And then what have you done? You have risen the attention and the focus of the guy behind you, which is now Tyler O'Neill, and is capable of hitting home runs too. You could walk yourself into 2 runs instead of 1.
Goldie is running, and no throw, and a stolen base for Paul Goldschmidt.
And oh yeah, he can do that too.
A count of 1 ball and 1 strike. The next to O'Neill. 1 and 2. Well, Goldschmidt may surprise you, but he did have a 32 stolen base season, an 18, a 21, and 18 again. I mean, he's a guy that picks his spots, but he's very successful when he does.
I think he's one of those guys that has the confidence to run when he knows the numbers are in his favor, and that's guys don't realize he's going to run. Guys aren't paying attention. They're slow to the plate, and you go and you get a good jump. You know, and if you've seen him start to go and then pitcher doesn't lift up his foot, he'll stop. He's got all those things going for him. I think that's just really good base running.
Jimmy, he's only been caught 1 time in his tenure with the Cardinals. He is 17 for 18 in steals.
Well, let me just tell you what, there's one guy that's behind that other than him, and that's Pop Warner. He does a really nice job of watching the tendencies of pitchers, what guys will come over once they set, what guys will snap throw over, what guys look at you at second base and don't look at you at second base. There's a lot of guys in this league that will really fall into a pattern, and I'm saying it's ridiculous, Danny. I've been in there and I've had him say if he comes set, he's not throwing over. So what does Goldie do? As soon as he comes set, you take off. And if you don't leave too early, they don't step off. If he's going to throw over, he will throw over before he comes completely set. And then what do? You take advantage of it.
The 2-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill.
Here's another one right here. I've heard him say this. I was just watching him throw right here. If once he looks to home from second base, he's coming to the plate. So you'll see a lot of guys, they'll look at you, they'll look towards third, they'll look back at you, they'll look towards third. They're not ready to go home yet. Then when they focus on home, they're not looking anywhere else again. And see maybe if he falls into this category too, because he just did it. But there's so many things that these coaches pick up on. It's ridiculous.
3-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill.
Good swing.
Well, for Hembree, this is where you talk about the dangerous aspects of the Cardinals lineup. You're 3-2, first base open. Do you want to pitch to O'Neill? You can. He's already driven in 4 today. If not, you got Arenado on deck.
And by the way, make sure you make a good pitch with the fastball and don't hang the breaking ball. Or you get to deal with Arenado. And then, oh, by the way, if you don't throw to him with good location, then you got Pujols on deck. Good luck. That's where I think this lineup improved so much with the DH more than most. I really do believe that. There is just so much depth here. You're looking at Bader and Edman at the bottom. Both of those guys can fly. Both can hit.
Popped up right side on the 3-2 and out of play. We'll have a 9th pitch of this at bat.
And you know what shocked me today being down there? The size of Nootbaar. He is put together. I mean, he's tall. He's physically built. He's a big guy, and we always talk about that short swing, and because you don't see the size of somebody on TV, now I know why he's got that power.
They shade O'Neill a bit into right center. And pitch number 9 coming up to the Cardinal left fielder. He popped 34 home runs a year ago. And
great at bat.
Takes a pitch outside, and that's back-to-back walks, and you're asking for trouble with Arenado coming up. The Cardinals have received 7 walks today, and that's number 2 issued by Henry. Arenado today is 0 for 2. Struck out back in the first, flied to left, and walked in inning number 5. Some pretty big keys to this 2022 season right there. Can you get Jack Flaherty back healthy? Can Michaelis continue what happened in spring and stay healthy? And then Adam Wainwright just being Adam Wainwright.
I interrupted you earlier, but what I was saying about Wainwright was, I think there was a point where we were talking about him having 7 starts left. And we said, you know, it's going to be tough, but if he gets to 7 innings in each of those starts, win or lose, he's going to get to, you know, 190 innings and how impressive that was. And I still go back to that day, and he finished with 206. And I thought, we're talking about 7 starts of almost 6 or 7 innings or more.
Every time out.
He almost blew that away.
Yeah. 2 on, 2 outs. Arenado rips it out to left, but right at Ben Gamel.
Ouch.
The final opening day start for those two together.
Lead the Bucks 5-zip. Paul DeJong looking to rebound from a down year last season. He believes he has corrected the problem. Paul told me, I worked with a hitting coach in the offseason to get my swing path right, so my approach is more consistent. Jeff Albert has been part of it, and he's helped me keep it going into the season. Paul said there was also a mental aspect behind his struggles. He said, I think the last couple of the years I was overanalyzing things. I learned the hard way. That can make things worse. Dan, Paul says he's not overthinking it this season, and right now he feels like he's in a much better place. Had a good spring. He'd like to keep it going.
He is walked today. He is 0 for 2. Told me down in spring camp that for whatever reason it was very tough for him just to get mentally locked in. Not from a lack of effort. He said, I just couldn't get locked in, and things snowballed, but he worked down at West Palm Beach with some other major leaguers. This is Nick Whitgren, the new pitcher for St. Louis, and in doing so, he felt a lot better going into this season. Changed some of the things. You mentioned his stance, what he's trying to do with the baseball, take it up the middle. We'll see if it pays dividends.
Well, he just has to keep from pulling off. And it's funny that Jimmy said that thing, too, about thinking too much, right? Well, one of the things that we talked highly about him early on in his career, the first year or two, was how smart he was and how he thought through the process and how he could calm himself down. Well, when you're hitting, sometimes that can hurt you, right? You start thinking a little bit or trying to do a little bit too much and trying to do this or that. And that's kind of what Arenado was doing last year when he said he was not happy with the way he hit all the way around. It was the thought process kind of gets out of whack, and that can really get in your way.
Lefties last year against Whitgren. He was with Cleveland. Got him at the tune of a .320 average. Very tough on the righties, 219. Made 60 appearances out of the bullpen for the Indians. Now the Guardians hit the other way, and a base hit. Tsutsugo against the shift. The scoreless streak, by the way, for Adam Wainwright continues. Last time you've had a pitcher 32 or more innings of scoreless baseball against the Pittsburgh Pirates, 1969. Phil Niekro, and Waino is at 30 plus after his 6 scoreless here today. 5th time in Wainwright's career he's gone 6 or more innings on opening day. Longest outing was 7 back in 2014. Here's Kevin Newman. And Newman looks at a strike. Adam Wainwright, 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, struck out 6, did not walk a man. Into shallow right, backing up Tommy Edman. He'll make the catch for the first out. Newman 1 for 3 today. Quick word from BJC.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Switch hitting, Cole Tucker in right field today. He's 0 for 2. Struck out back in the second inning and grounded out to third. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays today. Make it 3 potentially. Edman spinning on the first 3 double plays on opening day for St. Louis. We stretch. Albert coming up. Ball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. By Budweiser, this Bud's for you. And opening week is presented by FTX, the official crypto exchange of MLB. Albert Pujols, Paul DeYoung, Yadier Molina. 11 seasons in St. Louis for Albert. Now back in 2022, in which he hit .328, 3-time MVP, the Rookie of the Year, 6 Silver Sluggers, and a 9-time All-Star, a World Champion, and 2 Gold Gloves. Not too shabby. Chris Stratton, our Chevy, called to the pen. Pujols has reached base twice, the couple of errors. The first pitch to him. The check swing and a strike. Honda home run inning. $1,000 donation be made to the Make-A-Wish Foundation by your Gateway Honda dealers if the Cardinals hit a home run. Stratton very tough against right-handed pitching, .213. The average against him last year, the lefties, .260. The 5th pitcher used by the Pirates today. The 1-1. Brubaker went 3 innings, Crow 2. Underwood got hurt. Hembry finished it up. And now Stratton. 2 balls, 1 strike on Albert Pujols. Albert lifts it out to center, and that'll stay in the ballpark. Reynolds back and makes the catch.
He just left it out there, just barely, got a little quick. Whew. You could see that come out of the hand right there, which is sitting in the middle of the plate, and Albert just got a little quick. Tell you what, I think he looks really good so far. I mean, he's hasn't really hit a ball in the nose yet, but the swing looks, I mean, I feel like I'm watching a game from 2008 or 9, like in Time Machine. Like nothing's really changed. He's just like he belongs out there.
To me, he looks, in his stance, the crouch is a little bit different in terms of where he was with the Angels and the Dodgers at the end. And it seemed to be more present with the Cardinals. As DeYoung pops it up on the infield. It's going to be a fun year, though. No doubt about it. Tsutsugo puts it away. 2 outs. And it brings in Yadier Molina playing in his last opening day here in St. Louis.
So you say. So we think.
Well, I keep telling everybody
all 3 of them are coming back.
Believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
But I can only go on what they say.
Oh, that was before Albert signed.
Good point. So 2 outs and nobody on. Here's Molina over 3 today. And the 1-0. 2-0. Sometimes when Yadi, hitters count, lets it fly. This place would erupt if he would take one deep. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. The 2-2. Spoiled by Molina. Outfield is straight away for Yadier Molina. The 2-2. In the dirt, 3-2 with Bader on deck.
Pretty good take right there.
'18th straight opening day starting catcher. Franchise record for most consecutive starts at a single position. Yadier Molina. 3-2. In the air right side. Park near the line and makes the catch. We head to the 8th of opening day. St. Louis on top 5-0.
Cardinals up 5-0 on the Pirates. Adam Wainwright with a stellar outing, 6 scoreless innings, 6 Ks. And Tyler O'Neill driving in 4, leading off exactly where he did last season. Brad, great to see.
No, it's a beautiful start. We'll break down all of Adam Wainwright's performance today. Tyler O'Neill, the majesty around opening day after the game.
We had so much fun pregame. We're having a blast watching you, Dan and Jim. Back to you guys to finish this one off.
All right, Alexa, welcome to baseball coverage on Bally Sports Midwest. Great to have you with us. Brad Thompson on the postgame. Our Chevy call to the pen, Genesis Cabrera. 7, 8, and 9 for the Pirates. And a strike delivered by the 25-year-old from the Dominican, Genesis Cabrera. Looking at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball, breaking ball. Nasty, nasty stuff. 71 appearances for the lefty last year.
You know he can run it up there in the mid to upper 90s consistently. It is all about throwing strikes. And speaking of picking up where he left off, how about the energy out of Brad Thompson right there? Wow.
You're always going to get energy with Brad. You know that, Jimmy.
Trying to stay warm down there, Bradley. I like it.
1-2 the count. And the next by Cabrera. Missed on the outside corner. 2-2. Made his Cardinal debut 2019. Actually made a start. It was against the Phillies and then shifted to the bullpen. The 2-2 up and in.
So he's another one of those guys that throws majority fastball, slider, fastball, curveball to lefties, and then he uses the changeup more to righties. I think he can use the changeup more. I really do. I think it's you know, you get guys that are looking 98, and so they're trying to pull the trigger on anything straight. If you throw that pitch that starts off up there in their face and just ends up by your feet, there's no way you hold off. There's no way you can hold up.
First walk issued by Cardinal pitching today. Whitgren, a scoreless 7th inning after 6 scoreless by Adam Wainwright. The batter will be Roberto Perez. He is 1 for 2 today. Single to left, grounded back to the pitcher in the 5th, Adam Wainwright. Right-handed batters only hit 178 against Cabrera last year. The lefties actually, this is a bit surprising, but they were better. 261 against Cabrera, but the righties well below 200.
Well, I think it's because of the changeup is better than the breaking ball. And why I say that is, Danny, you can see the breaking ball out of the hand with the hump above the wrist when he lets it go. And I think you can see it better. And also, I believe he gets behind lefties more often where they can just go and cheat fastball dead red. And it's still scary, but you got to do your job. And if you go sell out on fastball and you get one, you got a better chance.
1 ball and 1 strike. Again, it'll be an off day tomorrow for these clubs. And then Michaelis against Mitch Keller Saturday 1:15 here at Busch Stadium. The 1-1. Genesis Cabrera came over from Tampa Bay along with Justin Williams, Roel Ramirez. That was the Tommy Pham deal, and Tommy Pham is now playing with the Cincinnati Reds. Signed with the Reds late in spring. The 2-1 pitch, 3-1. And now to slow him down a bit, Yadier Molina. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
What's more convenient than over 100 helpful locations? How about one you can take with you? Wherever life's path leads you, we're just a tap away with Great Southern Mobile Banking.
Ali Marmol is trying to pick up his first win as the St. Louis manager. His managerial debut at this level. At one point, he was also the youngest manager in all of professional baseball a few years back in the minor leagues. Fly ball near the sidewall and out of play.
And look at the wind really quick. The wind was actually blowing out to left field
right
now. Maybe the first 2 innings that ball's playable. Now, no.
Genesis Cabrera was the 2000th player to appear in a game for the Cardinals. Made his major league debut against the Phillies in that start May 29th of 2019. The 3-2 pitch on its way. Back-to-back walks. And not what you want to see with a 5-run lead. And this will be a mound visit. Mike Maddox coming out. First time the claw will be used
this year.
There it is.
We get a better angle.
Get 100% MLB verified tickets easier than ever on StubHub, the official partner of the Cardinals. Widest selection of seats and prices. Look up your seat view before you purchase so you know your view of the field. Tickets available on StubHub up until the first pitch. Back-to-back walks here in the top of the 8th. Hoy Park will be the batter. Did get a injury update from the Pirates. Spasms in the forearm of Key Brian Hayes. That's why he was taken out. And then Underwood had the issue with the hamstring, so
and
that's
I
what
told
happened.
you, it's scary when I'm telling you, when you wrap that wrist, and anytime you wrap something, especially in the cold, you're going to have that, those muscles are going to contract, and it's meant to obviously keep things from hurting. But I've had it where I've had to wrap my ankle or wrap something, and I've had my calf get tight. I've had, forearms get tight. It's almost like in this weather, like I said, traveling, get dehydrated. You never know what's going to go wrong. And you did a great job, I think, by pointing out when he dove for that ball, he didn't come down awkward, and you could just see he was having trouble. I thought at the beginning maybe he was having trouble with his glove. So thankfully, he's going to be okay.
Here's an 0-1. Instead, a check on the runners. First 2 have reached. Back-to-back walks. TJ McFarland throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. Cardinals have turned 3 double plays today. Strike him out, throw him out in the second. 6-4-3 in the fourth and a 4-6-3 in the seventh. Here's the 0-1. Nothing in 2 the count. Nothing in 2 the count with 2 runners on, nobody out. We play in the top of the 8th. And he got him. A strikeout for Cabrera. Plaza Tire Service pitch tracks.
Ew. Didn't really want much of that pitch right there. That's when you're lefty and you take that pitch and you're like, oh, please call it a ball. Please call it a ball.
So top of the lineup. Michael Chavis will be the pinch hitter for Vogelbach. Two runners on, 1 out. And the first to Chavis. In the air, shallow right center. Bader with the catch. And there's 2 away. Switch hitting Brian Reynolds. Just after walking back-to-back hitters, he settled back in. I'm sure you get that. The adrenaline, the first game, the excitement.
Haven't seen the radar gun for a while.
Yep.
All the above.
Reynolds has struck out. Singled to right, fly to center. Two outs and 2 on. First pitch to Reynolds, taken down and in. Two balls and no strikes. So 2 lefties in the St. Louis bullpen. McFarland, Cabrera. The righties, Whitgren, Verhagen, Woodford, Whitley, Palante. When he makes an appearance, it'll be his major league debut. Helsley, Gallegos, and Aaron Brooks.
Batteries aren't working anymore in his hat. We're gonna have to use signs.
Reynolds 2 for 5 against the Cardinal lefty with a double and a walk, a couple of strikeouts. The long look, and now he's set in a 2-0 pitch to Brian Reynolds. 2-1.
Good pitch right there. Don't be afraid to take that pitch right there. I know it's 5-0 in the 8th with 2 outs, but you got to believe you got to kind of get something going somewhere, especially with the fastball that he's going to throw. You might only get 1 of those fastballs to hit.
He evens it up at 2-2. What do you think on 2-2?
I think you should have swung 2-0. That's what I think. That was like back in the day when I was a rookie and I would say, man, I just missed that slider. And Rod Cruz said, no, you should have swung at the 2-0 fastball.
Make you think.
Okay, I'll change my approach. Thanks. But that's true. Why do I want to swing at an off-speed pitch? Why do I even want to get there? Sometimes you have to play the scoreboard, but sometimes you also have to be a little bit, I wouldn't say selfish, but kind of smart. Like, okay, what do I want to do? If I'm going to sell out on a fastball here, probably better chance of getting it straight 2-0 than 2-1 and 2-2. You might get a sinker, you might get a little cutter slider, might get a changeup 2-1. Especially these days, you just got to look for that four-seamer and get after it.
3-2 pitch, runners go, check swing, and he went. Couple of strikeouts.
Like
Genesis Cabrera walked a pair, but no damage done. We move to the home half of the 8th. In the home opener, it's 5-0. Sports Midwest will be Saturday. Day baseball will come your way at 12:30 with the pregame show. 1:15 the first pitch. Hope you're with us. Pirates and Cardinals on your home of Cardinals baseball, Bally Sports Midwest. Game summary, 5-0 St. Louis. Brew Baker lasted 3. Key Brian Hayes lasted a half inning or so. Adam Wainwright 6 innings, struck out 6. Tyler O'Neill is driven in 4. And it adds up to a 5-0 lead. 1 of 3 lefties in the bullpen for Pittsburgh. Chevy called to the pen, and it is Aaron Fletcher. Only 4 games last year. And this spring, 4 2/3. Couple of walks, struck out 5, and has made the opening day roster now for Pittsburgh.
Tell you what, you got some work in spring training if you got 4 innings in as a reliever.
And a shortened spring, too.
Yeah.
Ryan Helsley, the right-hander for St. Louis, begins to throw in the St. Louis bullpen. Bader lines it softly to first, and the out.
Danny Fletcher's another guy. He's going to be fastball slider to righties. I'm sorry, to lefties, and he's just going to mix in that changeup to the right-handed batters, and I think that's what you saw Bader right there with. Is he's got a little quick, didn't see the pitch, hit it off the end.
Light rain starting to fall here at Busch Stadium. There's Tommy Edman, hitless today. He is 0 for 3. A ball and a strike. Just enough to be a little bit of a nuisance.
To get 15,000 people out of their seat.
Edman hits it down the left field line. It is hooking, and it's a fair ball. Tommy Edman takes it deep, and it's an opening day homer. Tommy Edman.
This is why you got to love this kid, Danny, to go with that Gold Glove. Switch hits, and he's got some pop from both sides. The left-handed swing, a little bit typical of a lefty. Right-handed swing, more of a pull, flatter swing. He gets on top of that ball and hits a missile into the seats.
The Pirates are going to challenge this. Ooh, boy, is it off the top of the wall.
Well, I hope
and then
not.
Back into the field of play.
A correction, that is a crew chief review.
One of the new aspects of baseball, and I love this here in 2022, is that the umpires will tell you exactly what is being challenged for those at the ballpark and those at home as well. They are mic'd up like the other major professional sports, so you get an idea of exactly what they're going to take a look at it. And this should be a crew chief review, not a challenge by
I think
the Pirates.
If you look at this, it hits the ballpark sign. It doesn't bounce straight up, does it? It's hard to tell from that angle.
There's also probably 2 to 3 feet behind the wall where it can hit that and immediately hit the ballpark sign as well.
I'm thinking that if it hits the sign only, and this is going to be hard to tell, but if it hits the wall only, it doesn't jump back off there like that.
After review, the call is confirmed, home run.
Now that we've entered the NFL zone, I kind of like that.
Well, NFL, NHL, college basketball, they'll come over to the side table and explain it, and it's been a long time coming.
Well, I just don't think it has to be such an obvious thing like that, but there's 10 or 12 times a year where we're saying, what happened? I mean, that's obvious, right? It's a homer, or it's not a homer, but there's been some plays that you and I have been like, what just happened?
Tommy had 11 home runs a year ago, his first of this season. Well, you could have a play at the plate where it's out or safe, and then the other side challenging whether or not the plate was blocked. So it leads into another challenge. That one hit Dylan Carlson.
I think it's funny how much that blocking of the plate rule has kind of just gone away, hasn't it? Just kind of disappeared a little bit with, right in the toe. Doesn't seem like they really worry about that so much anymore. Either that or their catchers are just doing a nice job of kind of giving the lane and then taking it away.
Paul Goldschmidt has walked 4 times today. The runner at first, Dylan Carlson, 6-0 St. Louis.
Change up there.
So Goldie with 4 walks and a run scored this afternoon. The 0-1. And it's a base hit into right center. Carlson on his way to third. And runners at the corners for St. Louis. On base 5 times here in the opener, Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, Danny, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Really giving him anything to look at inside. He has no reason to open up and cheat. Probably thinks he's going to get pitched to because of the lefty, and you throw him a really good pitch, and he just stays on it and smacks it.
Tyler O'Neill has been on base 3 times. He has driven in 4. RBI single in the first, 3-run homer in the second, struck out in the 4th, and walked in the 6th. Have a day, Tyler O'Neill. That pitch outside. Well, the Pirates are going to find out right away about the young Mr. Fletcher here facing the middle of this St. Louis lineup. And the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. Arenado on deck. The 1-1. Goldie and O'Neill, they have been on base today 8 times.
This is where it might be a little tough to see righty lefty. You can see the outfield grass, or not the outfield grass, but the center field's basically backdrop is bright and the inside is dark.
O'Neill lifting a fly ball into shallow right, late break. The catch is made by Tucker. The throw to the plate is not in time. Tyler O'Neill on opening day has driven in 5 and adds to the St. Louis lead.
Tell you what, that is great hustle, and this really does, playing the game hard, just bails Tyler O'Neill out of a fly ball and out. Dylan Carlson going hard the whole way. Pop taking a chance. Great job, and also picking up your teammate right there. And now Tyler O'Neill, instead of being 2 for 4, is now 2 for 3 with another RBI on the stat book. I think that's awesome right there. You don't never stop playing the game if it's the way you're supposed to play it.
Tyler O'Neill with the 5 runs batted in ties a Cardinal record. He's one of 3 to do that on opening day. Only 2 others have done it. Arenado out to deep left at the wall. Gone. Nolan goes deep. Last year he did it on opening day. He does it again in 2022. And the Cardinals are pouring it on here at Busch. Nothing, and it extends it to Albert Pujols. Primarily brought in to face left-handed pitching, and he destroyed lefties a year ago.
I can't wait to hear this place go crazy when he goes deep for the first time.
The 1-0. And Pujols lines it out to left. Hard hit again. The Cardinals pick up 4, and they have a 9-0 lead. Run in the bottom of the 8th, the Cardinals pick up 4. Tyler O'Neill with 5 runs batted in. First Cardinal to do that on opening day since 1928. And Nolan Arenado, just like a year ago, homering on opening day. The season debut for hard-throwing right-hander Ryan Helsley in our Chevy call to the pen. Helsley had his season cut short a year ago, knee surgery. It certainly can be a weapon coming out of that St. Louis bullpen. Adam Wainwright in line for victory number 100 at Busch Stadium 3 for him. 3rd on opening day. Will be just the 33rd pitcher in Major League history to have 100 wins in one stadium.
Wow.
Diego Castillo. And I hope for the Pirates and just baseball fans that Key Brian Hayes, it's not something serious. Young, talented player. You would have to think will be the face of the franchise in Pittsburgh moving forward, but had to leave with spasms in his forearm. And so Castillo came in the bottom of the 1st. Right-handed batters last year hitches .214 against Ryan Helsley. The lefties .250. And Castillo in his Major League debut here today. The 0-2. Chopped to third, backing up Arenado. Not many third basemen do that.
What a play. As you were going to say, he read the big hop.
Well, Jimmy just take it over.
Big play right here. You don't always have to charge everything. You charge something right there. You get in between hop. He just backs up because he has a cannon, and he is very comfortable doing that.
Van Meter will pinch hit. Shift on the right side of the infield. Josh Van Meter. And the first pitch is strike. 100 on the gun from Ryan Helsley. Ryan is 27. He'll turn 28 middle of July. Debuted with the Cardinals back in 2019. 0-2. What separated Helsley last year, inherited runners. He was outstanding in that category. 5th lowest in terms of percentage inherited runners in the history of the Cardinals. Led the National League and was second in all of Major League Baseball behind Liam Hendricks of the White Sox. The 0-2 pitch. And another one of those guys that has graduated to the bullpen. Appeared in 65 minor league games, and 62 of those were starts. The 1-2 pitch. 101 on the gun from Helsley. As a matter of fact, last year 4 of 31 inherited runners scored against Ryan Helsley. That's it. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. There's 2 away. Kevin Newman. One for 3 today. The first pitch taken for a ball inside. Some different looks in the St. Louis bullpen. McFarland, Helsley, a hard thrower. Now Hicks moves to the rotation. So Whitgren, not quite at the level in terms of velocity of these guys, but certainly a veteran. He's been through it. Little squiver that stays fair. Helsley is there, applies the tag, and the Cardinals have the first win with Ali Marmol as their manager. Congratulations, Ali. And the Cardinals are 1-0 here in 2022.
Man, I think that's just a game that we're going to be accustomed to seeing. Good pitching, good offense, no errors. Maybe not going to be 9-0 every night, but that is nice to see that the team keep putting runs on the board as the game goes and never be satisfied.
It's the largest margin of victory for the Cardinals on opening day since 1982 against Houston. They won 14-3 that day. And for the Cardinals, maybe this will be a special year just like 82. We'll be celebrating the 40th anniversary all season long of that championship club. We'll keep it right here. Jim Hayes down on the field. We'll go to him momentarily. So the Cardinals win it, convincing fashion, to the final of 9-0. Let's check in with Jim Hayes, who's with Tyler O'Neill. Jimmy?
5 RBI night for Tyler O'Neill. Tyler, opening day, a normal opening day for the Cardinals. Albert returns. You guys get a W. Pretty special day overall, right?
Yeah, it was a heck of a day, that's for sure, Jim. You know, just a buzz out here. The atmosphere is incredible. Just to be able to experience that. You know, opening day in St. Louis is very special, and you know, it was a great W today.
The fans love Albert, no question. I mean, they gave him standing ovations as an opposing player. Now he's back with the Cardinals. Just the reception he got. What's it like to have Albert around?
It's incredible, honestly. He's a walking Hall of Famer. You know, he's got so much knowledge, so much wisdom that he can pass down to us. You know, help us young guys compete in there and, you know, tweak something here or there. But, you know, he's such a legend, and for him to be on the team and contribute in the lineup, you know, it's a force.
You drove in 5 tonight, 3 on a home run in the second inning, a 2-2 slider on the inside part of the plate. Take us through that.
Yeah, it was. I know they were busting me in, so I knew I had to get the head out. You know, put a good swing on a pitch to hit. So that's that.
How about Adam Wainwright today?
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're getting with Adam. He's going to come out and give us a good chance to win every time. You know, his quality start today, and you know, again, like every time he's on the mound, he's gonna give us a chance to win.
Thanks for the time, Tyler.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right, Danny. Tyler O'Neill.
34 home runs a year ago, and Tyler O'Neill connects with his first of 2022. Albert back, Yadi as well, Bueno all playing a role in this win for St. Louis. Opening day, it's in the books, and it's always fun. For Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, our entire crew, stay with us. Post game comes your way next. 9-0 the final, and we'll talk to you on Saturday afternoon.